So here we are, Sunday the 23rd of July. Man oh man, is time ever going by. Anyway, as you can see, the grass is starting to come in and my walkway is starting to look like something. It's amazing how quickly this stuff comes back. I see my neighbour's house is up for sale again, and that'll be the fourth set of owners since I've lived here. But yeah, my front garden is, these are blackcurrant bushes by the way, flowered and berries eaten, because I'm trying to, as they turn this into an old English country garden, but I also would like to have an edible garden. So I have garlics planted all along here, and here's a red currant bush, and daylilies of course, hydrangea. But yeah, this has been the weekend of the big tidy up. All the lawns are mowed. Looks like we're going to have some rain tomorrow. So I'm kind of glad to get all of this done. And I really feel like I'm getting on top of some of the chores around here. I'm going to recover the wood because that old tarp is leaking a little bit. That is this winter's wood. And wet wood, I can assure you, is a very disappointing experience. So we're just through the midsummer weeding, and what I find that I do with my garden anyways, I have a good weeding when I first plant, and then around about this time of year, when it's just starting to dry out a little bit, I go through and I have another good weeding. And of course, if you see a weed, pull it. Now my potatoes, I'm not quite sure what is going on with the other row of potatoes here, but this yellow has not gone away, it's persisted, and I've had a couple of potatoes. Oh look, well look, there's one right there. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, this has just turned to mush, the stalk. It's sort of turned black, kind of gooey colour. And of course there's no potatoes on the end. Now if anyone can tell me what that is, whether it's potato rot or goodness knows. Anyway, if somebody can identify that, the stalk, as I say, has just turned to mush. I don't see the presence of a worm. So, I'd like to solve that little mystery. Anyway, in the meantime, I am putting it all in a one pile here, and I will take that away. Now, these rows are completely unaffected. They're doing just fine. No problem at all. And of course, the rows on the other side are doing just fine. So I'm not quite sure what that is. Anyway, gardening, I can assure you, is a living and learning experience. Things are always changing, there are always little issues coming up, and you know, that's why one of the things I do like about the weeding is that, you know, you get up close and personal, and you get to see if there's any little problems, and you know, catch those potato bugs early on. Look, there's a sunflower has burst through the potatoes. Anyway, these are certainly looking healthy enough, and they're starting to flower, so I'm anticipating a good crop. I just hung my nettles. This will be going into a nettle tea. I just pick the leaves off the stalk when they're a little bit drier and curled round, and that way you don't get stung. So now, my fertilizer. I use this pure hen manure. It is absolutely fantastic, and about every other year, Spanish River Volcanic Minerals Plus to just put those minerals back in. They get washed out over the course of time with the rain and the snow and runoff and all that kind of stuff. But I can highly recommend these two products, Actisol and Spanish River. Very good products. So my morning glories are starting to grow up absolutely anything that they can lay their little hands on. Sunflowers, of course, doing well. Ivy is escaping. And the kale doing extremely well. Well, as you can see, I have a wall of peas. I've been eating peas for about a week now, and you can see they're starting to die off, as peas do. They're starting to finish off. Anyway, good job I like peas. And as I say, I've been selectively breeding, so you can see these pods, all of these pods, look, they all have a full set of peas in there. And again, if I find any this year that only have 2 or 3 peas in, I will just eat them. And this is the way you change DNA and improve things the natural way. So as I say, the asparagus is all ferned out now, and you can see the seeds forming. Just put some hay down for the strawberries. The peppers, getting some peppers going on here. And as I say, things are very, very late this year, so this is why I am probably not going to be really eating peppers until we get into probably middle of August. Let's see, cauliflower and broccoli. And I also tidied up my tomatoes. Got them all tied up. Anyway, we've got a good crop of tomatoes going on this year. Lots of flowering. This is good. We like flowering. Now this is where I cut down my nettles from, so I can actually walk past here now without getting stung. The cilantro has all bolted, and this is actually quite a marketable herb. People like cilantro. So what I'm going to do is, when that turns to seed, I'm going to save those seeds, and I am probably going to seed at least most of this bed in cilantro. Anyway, what I'm doing here is I'm making new soil. So I've dug down. You can see how deep the soil is, about 8 inches, 8 to 10 inches there. Okay, so I'm going to rake that flat. I haven't taken all the soil out. Now you know there's wood underneath that soil, and I've been finding quite a few worms as I've been digging, so I'm pretty pleased about that. And but what you do is you get yourself a bale of hay, and when you break the strings on it, you'll find it'll break into pieces like this, and you're just going to lay that down, and you'll cover all of that with hay, flat like that. Then I'm going to put some worm composted horse manure on top of that, not much, just a layer, and then I will rake all of that back down on top of that, put the other side, dig the other side out on top of the hay, and do the same thing right the way through. And that hay, you know, after a few rainfalls, it just starts to decompose and break down into soil. Your worms will love it, and It is actually, you know, I've seen people just plant straight into the end of a bale there, like lay it up on its edge, and once it gets wet, just plant in there, and that will slowly break down into soil. Great stuff is hay. It's all organic. Okay, so a flake of hay, about that size, about that thickness, about 3 inches, this will give you about a ½ inch of topsoil when it is composted down and turned into soil. But it is good organic matter going into your garden, and it will keep it healthy, and it will keep it nourished with all of the trace minerals and elements that you might want that come out of good organic matter. So here we go. Now just look at those red wrigglers in there. This is my worm composted horse manure. Wonderful stuff. This will get things going. See one of these little babies right there, that little critter, that is a cutworm. Want to get rid of that guy. Now you know why gardening keeps you fit. Oh yeah, now here's another little critter that, whoop. Whoa! It's like some kind of mealworm. Anyway, I can tell you that will bore into all of your vegetables, your root crops, beets, onions, potatoes, it doesn't matter. It will bore into. So I usually eliminate those as soon as I see them. Just take them, break them in two, throw them on the ground, you're good. These are dog bones. I just throw them in the garden and they rot away. Bone meal right there. ready to plant. And as I say, that 3 inches of hay, that will compost down into about a ½ inch of topsoil, and your worms will love it, your garden will love it, your vegetables will love it. So for about $3 a bale, 2 bales, $6, you are revitalizing and nourishing your topsoil. So my weeding is still going on, but I got into the beets the other day and got them all cleaned out, and part of the lettuce. I'll probably finish that tomorrow evening. Because I still got some work to do here. Now the raspberries are doing really well. It's interesting how quickly this actually is a blackberry raspberry cross, and you can see it's a little later maturing, but the raspberries are now coming on strong. I've been eating raspberries every day for about a week now, and man, are they good. The netting is working absolutely wonderfully, and so I am getting the bulk. Although you can see the birds do get at them even with the netting there. They hang on the side and peck away at the raspberries they can reach, little devils. Well, I guess they deserve some. And I decided to clean out this corner a little bit because I'm getting too much shade, and you can see both of these plants were put in at the same time. This is zucchini and this is cucumber, and you can see how much smaller this one is compared to the zucchini and the eggplant. So anyways, I trimmed down all of my lilac and Manitoba maple so we can get a bit more sunshine. And incidentally, another question, I don't know if anyone knows what this is. I don't know if you've seen this before. It's like little warts on the leaves, and a sort of a dry patch underneath. Now I don't know, is this a fungus or is this an insect? They're hard, there seems to be nothing inside. I don't see, just like a warty growth. Anyway, if anyone can tell me what that is, I would appreciate it. But like I say, we're finally getting things in shape. It's taken a little while. Late start to the year, and lots of other things to occupy my attention. So I would encourage all of you to think about doing something like this in your back garden, even if it's only just a little, half the size of this, a third, a quarter, an eighth of the size of this. But start thinking about growing some of your own food, because these current weather changes, you're going to see food prices start to skyrocket. Okay, so you want to be able to supplement, especially with these root crops. These root crops keep very well. Potatoes, beets, and that kind of stuff. Onions keep very well. Tomatoes do down, so you can make all kinds of sauces and bases for stews and that kind of stuff, soups. So I'm going to put a link down below to a channel that I go to quite frequently. It's called Adapt 2030. And this guy is actually quite amazing. He's predicting a little ice age or a grand solar minimum, and I believe what he says from all the research that I've seen him do. So I will leave the link below so that you can go and check that out. But these weather changes are getting serious. You know, we get so used to being able to go to a supermarket and just buy our food. We've never really seen shortages, not real shortages, you know, where you literally can't get anything out of the store at all. And from what I'm seeing, another channel I'm going to link below is sot.net, and that's for Signs of the Times, and they will show you some of the weather situations that are happening around the world, and how that influences the cost of food, the flow of food, the availability of food. And you know, after all said and done, at the end of the day, if there are two things that connect all of us, it is food and water. In fact, I used to take my kids down to the St. Lawrence market down in Toronto when they were younger, and because I wanted to show them that you know, you can shop around the world in the St. Lawrence market, but that food is the great connector, it's the great leveler. Food is something we all need, and good, clean, fresh water. And we seem to be very amply destroying both. I'm not even sure about the rainwater that I get because of the chemtrailing and the chemicals that come down with the rain now, and possibly the radiation from Fukushima, which is a still ongoing disaster some 5-6 years later. This is still pouring radiation into the Pacific Ocean, getting caught up in the currents and ending up evaporating. You know, all this stuff, all these things are connected. Everything cycles together. The water goes into the air, connects with all of the dust and chemicals and smoke and toxins and compounds, comes down as rain, gets sucked up into the plants and into us, because we are top of the food chain predators. And I don't say that lightly. We are definitely predators. We are rapacious predators. We're probably the biggest problem this planet has ever had. Anyway, so stay calm, wait for the signs, think about things, and think about putting a garden in. So this is Hound Dog Steve signing off on Sunday, 23rd of July. You have a great week now.